Hey guys, welcome back. This is day 3 and today we are going to learn how to write fractions as decimals. So as promised from yesterday, we are going to use that same paper, and this time we're going to work with our even numbers in order to write those decimals. So as you can see, I have already crossed out my plus signs because we're not going to add them, we're just going to write them as decimals. So I'm going to practice on a few before I let you go on your own. And you can just ignore that second side. So starting with 3/10 is the fraction we'll be looking at first. What we want to do is look at the denominator to determine which place value we should use, and since we're dealing with tenths, we're going to use our tenths place. How many tenths is the question, and according to our paper we need 3/10. So we're just going to put the number 3 here, and because 3 is just sitting there like that, it looks like it's a whole number. So what we want to do is make sure we add our decimal and our 0 to show that there are no whole numbers, and our decimal to show that we're dealing with numbers that are not quite a whole yet. So this is what 3/10 would look like. So below 3/10, I'm going to write 0.3. I'm going to try to do the same thing for the next one, which is 13/100. I'm going to erase. And as I just said, your fraction is 13/100 because the hundreds is in the denominator. So I'm going to underline my hundreds. And my number has to be big enough to carry over 2 hundreds, which means that I'm going to need that 3 in the hundreds place and that 1 in the tenths place. So there's my 13, and to make it into something that is less than a whole, I'm going to put my decimal here and my 0 because there are no wholes. So now we are looking at exactly what 13/100 would look like if it were written as a decimal. So 0.13. Well, let's try a few more. Erase that. That's not my focus. Okay, let's look at our next one. It says 1/10. Again, my denominator says tenths. So I'm in my tenths place and I only have 1. So I'm going to put a 1 here. It's a number less than a whole. And there are no whole numbers. So 0.1 is my decimal. 0 and 1/10. Okay. Now let's switch back. We're going to look at our next number, which is 85/100. Focusing on hundreds. So I'm going to write my 85. It's not a whole yet. So my decimal. And there are no wholes. So 0. So 0 and 85/100. And yes, I have to put emphasis on that decimal being and, because that's how we verbally make sure our decimal is in place. So erase this here, and now let's begin on our next one, which is 4/10. So we're going to go back to tenths. It says that we need 4. It's not quite a whole, so I'm going to write my decimal and a 0 because there are no wholes in this fraction. I'm going to record my answer. Zero and 4/10. Okay. Now, I'm going to give you a second. Look at the next one. 38/100 is what we'll be looking at. So, question, are we using our tenths place or are we using the hundreds place? You're right. Look at the denominator. It says 100. So what are we going to use? Absolutely. We're going to use our hundreds. And we have to make that number 38. So one number in my tens place, one number in my hundreds place. The number 38 is present. This is not quite a whole number yet. So 0 and 38 hundredths is my decimal. So let's write it down. 0.38. And now for the last two, I am going to let you get a second to do them on your own, and I will show you my answer in a second. Okay, we're back with the answers. So just check on your paper to see if your paper matches mine. And if it does, you definitely have the right answer. Well, that's all for your tutorial on how to make decimals or how to make fractions into decimals. Hopefully that was very beneficial. If not, post your questions below.